Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. You got Chubbs over there chomping on a bone. Minnie Mouse over there sleeping. Got Mr. Max over here, he's sleeping. And then Mickey Mouse is in the back, right through there, sleeping in the bed. So he's in front of the AC that's in the bedroom. And then I got the AC over here. You might hear that going. So this week has totally changed. It went from about 64 to 67 degree days and 42 to 46 degrees at night to 87 degrees yesterday, 89 degrees today, and the nights are stifling hot. So I'm doing the last couple things over at the homestead right now, and then that's gonna be it. I'm done doing any work on the homestead until this fall, unless we have some days that break. But with this heat, the last 2 days, I'm already just ready to go sleep right now. The heat just sucks everything out of you. Between that, the flies are bad already. The biting flies are out, and the humidity, it's just killer. But anyhow, this week I went to Fayetteville, went to dentist, got that taken care of. So that was one of the appointments. I got the cleaning done, so my teeth are a lot cleaner now. I don't have a couple of the gray spots that I was having. Like the dentist called, he said, knock the barnacles off the boat. Went to go get tires for the truck, and the whole front end needed to be rebuilt on my truck. Between all the trips back and forth from Colorado, the truck's now got 146,000 miles on it. That included driving from Maryland out to Colorado, and then all the trips from Colorado moving here, and then all the daily driving going back and forth to see the animals and so on and so forth, and then in Colorado driving back and forth from the house to the ranch, take care of the animals before I moved over into that camper trailer on the ranch. So now that it's 146,000 miles on the truck, it was time to get work done. So just got the whole front end rebuilt, new control arms, tie rod, bushings, all that type of stuff done, and then the tires. So I was only looking at like $1,000 because I got to buy 10-ply tires because I'm out on gravel dirt roads. So for those of you that don't drive on gravel dirt roads, most cars and everything have 4-ply tires, and if you're out on dirt roads and jagged rock roads like out here, hey DT, how you doing tonight? Then you want to have a thicker ply tire because that will stop rocks going through your tire. If I drove up and down my road on 4-ply tires, I would have flats constantly. I learned that with the side-by-side before I sold that. I kept getting flats on the side-by-side, and that's why the tires were 4-ply, which I didn't know that. And when I bought new tires, they were only 6-ply, and I popped those as well. So 10-ply seems to be the only thing that really holds up to the rocky roads out here, and not being punctured between stumps and roots and rocks and everything else that's out here on dirt roads. So with that, I finally got everything taken care of. I was only planning on $1,000 for tires, but then the whole front end needed to be done in order to get the alignment done. And so I spent a healthy $2,400 this past week. So for finally getting out of credit card debt, now I'm right back into credit card debt. So it's a struggle, but you know, that's life and that's how things happen. So that's pretty much it on what happened this week. It's just my truck got taken care of, and then tomorrow, I hate to go back to Harrison because I haven't been to Harrison since this past week. I think Wednesday was the last day I went to Harrison. Haven't been to Harrison since Wednesday, but my check engine light came on yesterday. So I'm going to have to go to O'Reilly's and have them hook the scanner up, find out what's wrong with my truck now, why it just threw a check engine light on. I'm not sure if I'm going to go tomorrow. I really don't want to go back to Harrison. I know it's not like I went yesterday, but I'm trying to cut down on my spending, cut down on going to town. But it looks like I might have to go. So I might push it off one more day. I do have to haul water tomorrow. I've got to feed hay tomorrow, feed the animals. So I might push it off another day, try to get that done tomorrow because we have, I think, 4 or 5 days of rain coming in, potentially. It's only 40% chances for the 4 or 5 days, couple 60% chance days. So I might do all the feeding, the watering, all that stuff tomorrow, and then go Tuesday to town. Um, I just don't want to go town, and I really don't want the computer to tell me what's wrong with the truck because I just spent $2,400. I don't want to spend more. Uh, but that's what it's like when you do all this driving like I do. Besides that, my next dentist appointment is going to be in June. So June 13th, I got to go back out to Fayetteville to the VA to do the next batch of dental work. And then in June, they're going to schedule me for the next batch. So seems that every month I'm getting work done. But luckily, it needs to get done. Like I've told you guys before, for those of you that seen or those that haven't, I just turned 36 this year. I haven't been to the dentist in 18 years. So half a lifetime ago is last time I've been to the dentist. So it's good to get the work done. For those of you that are doomsday scenario people, or if you're a prepper or Boy Scout, Girl Scout, always be prepared. I'm getting the work done because you never know what's going to happen. And right now, there's still dentists that want to work. I don't know what's going on in this world right now, but it seems nobody wants to work. The Dollar General here in St. Joe has shut down several different days because they can't find enough workers. I don't understand it because we're in such a poor area that you would think somebody would fill the slot to get whatever hours they can. But in town in Harrison, I've talked to the general manager, Home Depot, and stuff like that, and they're struggling trying to find workers. And without the workers, stores are shutting down earlier, or businesses are going out of business, and it's getting worse. Which leads us to this perfect topic of this week. And for those of you out there that do comment, no, DT, not gonna happen. But for those of you that comment like DT, give me some topics for what you guys want to hear on these Sunday, Monday vlogs. I'm putting topics, and I talk about what I'm doing for a week, which these next several months of Sunday, Monday vlogs aren't going to be much because I'm not going to be working at Homestead. I'm not really going to be doing much because of the heat. So give me some ideas, give me some topics that you guys want me to cover, and I'll go over those in future Sunday, Monday vlogs over the next several months. So I need at least 4 topics a month for the next, say, 3-4 months. So throw out ideas, and I'll cover them like I'm doing this. But this week's topic is how you can support yourself on one job. And a lot of people are thinking, that's crazy. You can't support yourself on one job unless you've got like a rich person's job that's making hundreds of dollars an hour, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to go several different avenues tonight on this. So we can jump on the conspiracy bandwagon, update some older topics. Well, DT, you got to tell me what older topics I need to update on. That's too general. It's not specific enough. Or Atlantic, or Arctic, or Indian Oceanish, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to jump conspiracy theory first. And that is, for some of you out there, you probably heard, I don't know the name. I don't pay attention most of the stuff. I just browse to see what trends do, and I try to see where to go. Just like gold and silver, you could see gold and silver was going to pop. You could see crypto was going to pop. I always tend not to have money when things are going to pop, so I never get the chance to invest because I'm struggling at that point before I can. But same thing with real estate. I bought properties here. Properties went up. I wasn't able to get out my properties. Property values going down, but I still think they're going to go up. So property is always a sure hold because in the future, eventually, it's going to come up. But somebody out there said that one day you will own nothing and be happy about it. Gardening updates, maybe? Okay. I don't have many gardening updates because I don't have a garden going, but I can go over some stuff, DT. Um, but with that topic that you own nothing, you be happy, we can jump down the rabbit hole of the whole Agenda 21, the rewilding of wilderness, moving people to cities, bringing out the whole tiny home um, trend that got everybody on TV shows and everything doing the tiny home thing, getting rid of everything you own, and it's a big push going that way. But you also got to look at every side. You don't just want to look at this side or just this side or just the middle. You want to look at through the whole spectrum. So in that whole spectrum, you got to look at, okay, if you moved into a tiny home, which I'll never move into a tiny home because that just doesn't fit who I am or what I want out of life. However, I lived in the shed. I lived in the RV on the ranch in Colorado. So I've lived in tiny situations. I don't want a big mansion, so that's not going to be a big thing for me either. But if you went to a tiny home right now, you have less space to buy stuff. You have less space to store stuff. You have less space that you have to heat, less space you have to cool, less space that you have to do remodeling on, work on, invest money on, and that could be a major benefit. So a lot of people nowadays, they think you have to have 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs in order to support yourself. And I've talked about this a while ago on the TV show 1912 or 1921, whatever the Yellowstone side kickoff show was. Not that good. It started getting a little bit good towards the end of this past season, but most of it I didn't care for because it jumped around too much. And I'm starting to think, this is going to be a little side note, I'm starting to think a lot of these shows and everything are AI created, artificial intelligence created, because a regular person knows how people follow things. And like the spin-off of Yellowstone, that 1912 or 1921, whatever it was, another TV show I started watching with Kiefer Sutherland, which I'm really upset about because they got rid of good shows that he did, and they started this new show called The Rabbit Hole. So between these two shows, they jump all over the place. They go back in time, they jump forward, they jump over here, they jump there, and it's very hard to follow because they don't click you in or give you, something to follow. That's why I'm starting to think everything's going artificial intelligence because it's not fluent, or not fluent, but it doesn't flow properly. And it's just not that human touch to it. But going back to what I'm talking about, in the 1912, 1921, whatever that spin-off show was, I talked about several months ago when they went to town and they come up upon a shop and the guy's trying to rent them a washing machine. And he said, so you want me to pay you money to rent the washing machine, then I got to pay for the electric, so then I got to make more money in order to have all this stuff. And that's what we need to be thinking about. We don't necessarily have to get rid of everything we have. We don't have to necessarily go to a tiny home, but you need to start looking at, are you letting society direct you and pull you and gravitate you into society? Or are you mindful enough to pull back and go back towards the community aspect. The change is going to society. And like I've said before, my great grandfather always said, change is 90% bad, 10% good. And society is that big change from community to society. And we're falling for that same aspect as that spin-off TV show. And that is the conveniences, the entertainment aspect, the non-stop spending of money and needing to make money. So if you want to support yourself on one job, which is very feasible. Now, I've talked many times that homesteading alone is not feasible. Not in this day and age, unless you're willing to give up everything. And then even if you're willing to give up everything, you're not watching YouTube right now because you don't have a phone. You're not buying things from the store because you don't have a vehicle. It goes on and on because you cannot support yourself homesteading unless, like I've said before, you do like microgreens or some specialty cattle or something like that, that there's a very niche market that you're able to make a boku amount of money and be able to support yourself. But being able to support yourself on one job is easy if you start to cut back, if you start to cut down on society. For example, just like on the spin-off TV show with that washing machine, I'm going to take you on a journey to something else. It's not a washing machine, but it's that right there, a television. So most of you out there, you have a television, okay? So you spent money, you bought the television. Then what do? You buy Comcast or DirecTV or Netflix or Roku. And every single month, you're paying money to watch your TV show. What else are you doing with the TV show? If you're Netflix and all that, you're running through your internet. So then you have an internet bill. Then, in order for the internet to be on, the TV to be on, you're spending electricity. So for this one thing right here, just to watch a television show, you're paying for television, you're paying for TV service, you're paying for electric, you're paying for internet. 4 bills just to have that one thing. 4 bills. And a lot of people aren't thinking of these things. So you've got to start thinking if society's pulling you in. Now, me, there's different websites out there that you can get TV for free. So I only pay an internet bill. I'm still paying an electric bill. I pay money for a TV. There's 3 bills I'm still paying to watch my TV because I like to watch my TV. That's what lets me unwind. Now, if we go back to the old homesteaders, they sat out on their porches. They went fishing. They sat by the river, which I see a lot of that out here. With me, the heat is way too much for me. So I'm in here with the AC. So being in here with the AC, I'm running water that's electric to heat the water, to take my bath to the baths. I got the ACs running right now. I got the lights on, TVs on, electric on, internet's on. My computer, as you saw next to the TV's on because I'm branching from my computer onto TV to watch my TV shows. So it costs money. If you want to survive on one job, you're going to have to start giving up certain things. Like I said, you don't have to go to a tiny home. You don't have to give up everything at once. But if you don't start scaling back, then yes, you will have to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs in order to keep doing what you want to do. Same thing with homesteading. Look at the original homesteaders. They weren't like me. They didn't have camels. They didn't have a whole herd of cattle and goats and pigs and llama and dogs and everything else. They were lucky if they even had a milk cow back then. So, and that was a whole family. That wasn't just one person. So these are the different things that you should be thinking about if you're trying to reduce. And that's where it goes back to that in the beginning with the conspiracy theory, is with the rich talking about one day you'll own nothing and be happy about it. It's kind of what they're pushing, because if they price you out, you've got no option but to own nothing and be happy, because you have no other option. And that's the sad part on what's happening now with inflation. And now they're making packaging smaller and everything like that. So you have to continuously buy more and more to get the same amount that we used to have. Between all that happening, that's where you have to start realizing, do you want to keep, like me, drinking Coke all the time and spending money as the price of soda keeps going up because carbonation keeps going up and plastic keeps going up, aluminum cans keep going up, so on and so forth, where you can't support yourself anymore at, hey, Max, just 9. Chubbs is about ready to go back on the couch and mess with Max's bone. And Max ain't too happy about it. Max, let him be. If he wants the bone, let him have it. You had it earlier. But anyhow, for those of you that want to survive on one job, that is going to be the dividing line. One job, loss of luxuries. More jobs, luxuries, loss of time. You're never going to have both. And you're going to have to make that decision. And the hard part is, with the price of everything going up, then it gets to the point, like with me right now, feed is going up again. The county just reassessed all the properties. So now all of my properties, my property tax is getting ready to go up. For those of you that don't know, my mortgage on the homestead at the time, I could only get an ARM. For those of you that don't know what ARM stands for, it's, I think, annually, or adjustable rate mortgage is what it stands for. And when I got my mortgage, it was around 3% interest on the market. Now it's well over 7%. And it keeps climbing. The Fed keeps raising rates. So I'm about ready to have my mortgage increased, my property taxes on all these properties I have getting ready to increase. My feed bill is increasing. Things at the grocery store, for those of you that aren't paying attention, prices are slowly creeping, but the packaging is getting smaller. For example, my dog food over here, the dog chow that I get, Purina dog chow, the red bags, it was 50 pounds last year. Then it went to 48, down to 46. Now it's down to 44. The Purina puppy chow that I get was 42. Then it went to 38, 36, 34, 32. Now it's all the way down to 30 pounds. The gallon olive oil that I get is now $30 a gallon for the olive oil. For those of you that don't know about the olive oil, I mix that with the dog food. That helps keep them with healthy coats, helps give them extra minerals, nutrients, everything like that, so they can stay healthy, along with, like the bone Chubbs is chewing on right now. They all got slabs of raw frozen beef from that little cow that me and Steve butchered earlier this year and threw in the freezer for the dogs. But things are all increasing. So I'm going to be at the point now, my water bills just increased, and that's because I'm hauling all this water to the animals. My electric bill is starting to increase because of the AC units running. But with everything increasing, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to start cutting back, trying to sell things, sell the rental property in Marshall, and then I'm pretty much going to be at the point that I'm either going to have to cut heavily back on my spending, but like I said, with the truck, I just spent $2,400 on credit cards, so now I got to get back on top of that, so I'm not paying interest again there. But with everything going on, I only have one check coming in. That's my one source of income. I don't have multiple sources of income. So with that, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to have to scale back. And that's the same thing a lot of you will have to end up trying to do, is scaling back. So you might want to consider trying to put money to the side. I know it's difficult nowadays. I never have money to the side because I always live paycheck to paycheck. I always squeak by. If I can't squeak by, I dump it all on credit cards. And then I run through the same bout again of trying to dig myself out credit cards. The biggest thing is waiting the 6 more years from next month in June to get my money from Colorado, because then at that point I can finally get on top of everything, get over to the homestead, get this place redone, get this place sold, and then I can finally have a little bit of savings, a little bit of nest egg to be able to be a little more secure. But that's the topic for this week. This was this week's coverage on what I've done. Not too much, like I said, just stack brush, dentist, spent money on my truck, hauled and fed the animals every day. Temperatures going up, a little bit of rain coming in. We'll see what's going on. And I hope everybody has a great week. I hope everybody is getting some accomplishments done on their places. I hope the weather is getting better for some of you. For some of you down south that are already experiencing all the heat, get ready. It's going to be a hot, hot summer. So with that, I hope everybody has a great night. I appreciate everybody joining in. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. And I'll see you guys on the next video.